Recently, I had one of my friends issue with VPN, OpenVPN, and then based on that, I did some tests, and I'm really interested in writing about this. Then I thought about doing a video blog, so here it is. I'll give you an idea about the setup now. The server, the OpenVPN server, which I'm gonna use, is on an Ubuntu server, and I'm gonna use OpenVPN Access Server. So it's basically a full-featured SSL VPN software which integrates OpenVPN server capabilities, enterprise management capabilities, and simplified OpenVPN Connect UI. So it's a much more simpler option compared to the traditional OpenVPN. And the best part of OpenVPN Access Server is it has mobile client, so you can connect your Android and iOS platforms to your OpenVPN server. So most probably I might be soon using my own VPN server than the other paid VPN options I have. Must be cheaper and easy for me. Okay, so for this demo, I'm gonna use two servers. One will be on DigitalOcean, a very small server, $5 server, just to test it. It's an Ubuntu 64-bit server, and I'm gonna install OpenVPN Access Server on that. The second server is a local VirtualBox VM, again Ubuntu, but that's going to be the Radius server, and I'm going to use LAN Radius for this. So the idea is to use the OpenVPN server on DigitalOcean and the local VM LAN Radius server for authentication. So when a user tries to connect to my DigitalOcean OpenVPN server, it will authenticate with the details from the Radius server. Let's see how it goes. So here I am on my OpenVPN server. I'm gonna first install OpenVPN Access Server. So I'm gonna download it first. I'm gonna basically copy paste it because it's gonna take too time if I'm gonna type in all this URL. So that's the URL download. Don't worry, I'll be listing all the commands as a separate writing on the same post. But for now, I'm gonna copy paste it so it's easy for me and easy for you to see that as well. So this is a 64-bit OpenVPN server I'm downloading now, and I'm going to install this. So I downloaded that. I'm going to install the software now. So it's setting up the OpenVPN Access Server now. That's it. OpenVPN server is installed, and you get a description on how to access this, and it says it is pretty self-explanatory. It says reset the password or enter a password for the OpenVPN user and then access using the admin UI and the client UI with this URL. So let's first set the password for OpenVPN user to manage this thing. I'm going to set an easy password. Repeat. Done. Let's go to the admin UI to see how it looks. So that's interface. Ignore this HTTPS error. It's a test server. I haven't configured the SSL on this. So OpenVPN and the password which I set. That's my password manager. Ignore it. Accept the agreements. There you go. Your OpenVPN server access server is ready. Two commands. Set the password and you're good to go. Thank you for whoever made this thing, because previously OpenVPN configuration was a pain. It's done. The server is on. You can start and stop the server. You can see the list of users from this. Pretty much almost everything is easy. Self-explanatory. One thing I'm concentrating here or interesting here is about this Radius option. So as I said, we're going to use the Radius authentication from a different server. We can install Radius here itself. I mean, it's not a problem, but the requirement what I got today from my friend was to do that he wants to use a remote Radius server to authenticate so that every user is listed on that, and use Radius authentication. Anyways, install the basic tools now, including free Radius tools, and then all required components. So I'm going to start the installation now with all basic components. So that's going to download and install basically free Radius and all the latest tools, and I accept, yes, proceed with installation. This is going to take few minutes. Plus we also need to install some additional libraries and tools just to make sure that sorry, all dependencies are installed. So that installing all the requirements. I'll pause the video for a few moments, and yeah, so it's asking for the root user for MySQL root password. I'm just adding a password now, something simple. Repeat the password. It continues the installation. I think it's going to take a few more minutes to finish the installation. Yeah, so rather than having a long silence, I'll pause this again and start once the installation is complete. Yep, so that's done. I'm going to install a few more tools, as I said. Yes. So once this is done, I need to also install phpMyAdmin to manage if in case I need to do anything on the MySQL side. So after executing this, we'll also install phpMyAdmin. That's done. So I'm going to install phpMyAdmin. Yes. I'm going to select Apache as a web server, and then during installation you might get one more option. Choose yes, and then enter the administrator account with which you can create MySQL database user. So we'll enter the database administrator password, and we'll create an application password for phpMyAdmin. Confirm the password, and it completes the installation. So I'm just quickly going to check whether I'm able to access. Yeah. And yes, I'm able to install it. That's a good news. Now after that, what I need to do is you install the tools. phpMyAdmin is done. Now I'm going to install a few more packages. Just to make sure everything is done, everything is fine. And then I need to install just accept the defaults, and then Copier is also installed. Now we just need to fix one thing on HTTP configuration. I'm gonna just add this line just to avoid, when you say Apache will say could not reliably determine the server's fully qualified domain name, so I'm just avoiding that issue. And then do a quick Apache restart. Check if everything is fine on Apache configuration. Syntax is okay, so everything is good. Now we gotta download LAN Radius. LAN Radius is a web UI for managing Radius, an easy interface again. it's very easy to configure LAN Radius with the GUI. So I'm just downloading the package. There's a small issue on the LAN Radius package it downloads. So I will just remove this thing just to make sure I download the right package with the right name. There you go, downloaded. I like to keep my server clean, so I'm gonna delete this long LAN Radius file, and then I'm gonna keep this one. Yep. I'm gonna extract the file on a LAN Radius folder and move this thing to Apache root directory. Now that's done, we'll go to that directory of LAN Radius, and then we need to configure on MySQL as well. Go to MySQL, and then we need to create a database. So we create an empty database, RadiusDB, and then we quit from there. Now, being in the same LAN Radius folder, there is an SQL file which we need to import into the SQL database we just created. So I'm gonna restore this database from this file. Excuse me. Just need to verify if that's all loaded properly. We'll just go back to MySQL, check the databases, and use RadiusDB, and just try show tables just to see if everything is here. Yep, you have all the details here on the database, so it's successfully updated. Okay, good from your database. So once it's done, we just need to make sure that you need to set up free radius to use the MySQL now. So let's go to free radius users, and then for test, let's uncomment this. And save. Now this is just to see if this thing works now, if everything works now. So what we do is LAN Radius or this Radius server, if you want to do some test, you need to always stop the radius and then use a debug mode, which is free radius minus XXX. This will give you all the details, debug information, and you'll see a lot of information like this. So yeah, it's listening to address 1814, everything seems to be okay. Now let's try starting it. It started. Now we're going to do authentication test. So see, we did the test, it picked up the username and password and everything. So if you get this thing, that means your configuration is correct. Now let's go to the next part. Let's stop free radius again, and again configure free radius to use MySQL for authentication. So let's do that. So locate sql.conf, uncomment this link line, and then the next thing to find is counter.conf. Let's uncomment this as well, and then one more thing we need to comment. Uncomment is sqlip pool.conf. Yep, you need to uncomment this as well. Right, and save the file. Now there's another file we just need to make changes. Is vi sites available default. Again, uncomment SQL. And then one more line 435. So line number 435. I can actually go back from VI and then plus 435 will bring it, but you know, it's fun to scroll down. So line 435. There is one more SQL there which I need to uncomment it again. Yep. Right. Save. Now again it stopped. It is stopped. Okay. So let's do the debug again. See, everything is fine. See, if once you see these things, that means your files are okay, configuration is okay. Sorry, cancel this thing. And now we need to create MySQL user for authentication. So let's create a Radius user. I'm creating a Radius user. I'm setting up a password for that. Grant privileges for that user. That's it. Great. Now we need to set this free Radius account, which we just created on MySQL. Locate login. There you go. Radius DB is different. And user is different. And one more thing we need to make sure is done is uncomment this line, so we can enable write clients. Save that and exit. Now we need to go to this. Need to go to another file, which is the configuration file, and then you need to locate this line. Configuration engine is MySQL. The input is correct. DB user. Let's change this to the one which we created, which is rat DB user. Database pass is rat pass. The DB name is Radius DB. Save and click the file. Done. Now to make it simple, let's go to var www, and this is easy. Just rename it to a clear name rather than having the weird version number and all. Keep it simple, $radius. Now we have few more things to do. We just need to enable the default SSL and do an Apache restart. Yep, done. There you go, all set. Now if you test your $radius, let's go to the 192.168.11.185/$radius. Go. If all goes well, you get the password, administrator, and default password. Your $radius is ready. So that's $radius. Again, simple as OpenVPN. You have pretty much everything, easy, self-explanatory, options. So I'm not going much detail in how to manage LAN Radius. Let's configure OpenVPN to use this remote radius server for authentication. So I'm back in OpenVPN. Oops, forgot the password. Okay, now there's a few more things I need to do. I'm just updating DB because I might need to search some files now. I need to do is clients.conf. Okay, this is where you explain or tell the Redis server which clients can connect. So I'm going to edit this one, and then before doing it, first rule, always take a backup before you edit anything. Learned it from really some bad experiences. So let's take backup of that and then edit the file. So I'm just going to edit on the default clients. I'm just going to keep my server's IP address here. Which I'm giving here the server IP address, and default net mask. I don't have to change anything on that. Secret key. Change this to hello VPN 123. That's it. Now step other. So I'm going to save this thing, and just to make sure if the everything is working fine, let's do a debug. Stop. Free radius minus xxx. Seems to be all fine. Cancel this and start. LAN Radius. Okay. Now go back to the interface on OpenVPN and then go to Radius. Now I need to enter my public IP, or I'm configuring here as chat and the shared secret as I mentioned previously. Sorry, on my Radius server, just to make sure I enter the right one and doesn't make any difference. I'll just copy from here, go to share secret and then enable radius for accounting. So the OpenVPN server will look at the Radius server now. Save settings, update running server so that the server knows the new setup. Okay, so that's done. We keep the current user free. Now let's create a test user. Red test, and apply. So we created a user. Let me open a client and install the tool. So I'm opening another browser and then I'm gonna go to the client page, accept certificate. There you go. Red test. Oops. Okay, I think I need to forward the port forwarding Now to enable the port forwarding for this to work, it was selected but Radius was not in use. So I connected. I will just open my OpenVPN client. Just going to use a browser and then so after downloading, the first time you log in, you download the OpenVPN client. This is for testing from the client side. Yep, done. So I got two servers now. The 63 is the latest version, so I'm going to connect on that. And the site, the user we created was rat test. I'll go back to all users, connect, and you can see it's asking for allowing connection. I said yes. As you can see on this, it's attempting to connect now. So assigning a VPN address, that means I got connected, and there you go. I've established connection. If you come to OpenVPN, you can see the current user is my Radius user rat test. So yep, OpenVPN is connected using data Radius users. That's it guys. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll come back with more tutorials. Thank you.